Michael, the Exploding Duck Brigade here with my good friend Zach. We both been longtime fans of Richalvarez. It's actually, once again, I've mentioned this before, how the entire Duck Brigade met. And I just, like, of course, when Richie announced a brand new series, we're all on it, ready to watch it. And me and Zach have very different viewpoints on how the first episode was. I thought it was wonderful. Zachary, well, not as optimistic about
we'll
it.
get into that.
Real quickly, I hate to start off a review negatively, so let's talk about the good things. Zach, you start off real quickly, then I'll go in more detail since I liked it more.
Alright, so, I did really like, sorry, my voice cracked. I did really like, the technical aspect of this whole episode. I mean, the cinematography was great, editing was great, effects, everything. It was very professional. Of course, the special effects weren't, like, so professional, but it's a web series. It worked as a web series, and I'm very happy with what Richie is doing so far with the show, with all this technical stuff. So, on to you.
Yeah, I actually think the special effects in this looked better than they did in Blue Core Studios' Mega Man and Sonic films, and that's saying a lot, because internet-wise, those were pretty good. Yeah, the quality was really good. The effects were, once again, as Zach said, good, YouTube standards. Also, just with considering the fact that they're going into this like with no budget, that's pretty good. But I think the thing that I really found, like one of the things I really enjoyed, is one of the things Zachary didn't like, and that's the plot and that's the characters. I think Mario and Ness's conversation at the very beginning at the restaurant was one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode. Not only was it really cool on Tim's behalf, because I almost called him Ness, on Tim's behalf, because I'm not used to Tim being a great actor. I feel like in Stupid Mario Bros. And a lot of the sketches, no offense to him, but he wasn't very good. In this, he pulled off a very believable and good performance, and I was actually very impressed with him. And even though this isn't technically a sequel to the original series, just the whole Mario and Ness conversation almost made it feel like that way. And I don't want it to be like that, but considering the fact that it was such a big part of the channel, having that feeling again was pretty nice. And I think the whole way they have it set up is really nice. I think that all the long shots of the town were nice, even if they may have overdone it. We'll get to that. But I like the story. I like where they're going with it. And I guess that's just like, what kind of story do you want? Some people think that they're jumping into it way too quickly, but I think they're going at a decent pace so far. Plus, it gives us a lot more, like, I feel like one of the things I do like is how I was thinking by the end of the first episode, he wasn't even going to be Mario yet. I thought this was going to be something that they were going to, like, really go slow with, but we all knew what was going to happen, so I'm glad they didn't just jump right to... I'm glad they just jumped right to it and gave us what we wanted rather than just, like, holding back for so long. So I thought it was really good. And, I'm also the negative things. I'm going to talk about those real quickly and let Zach give the big talk on negatives. And so people should not message me during the recording. Okay. So here's my issues. While most of the acting I thought was pretty good, there was some bad acting, and most of it came from the minion, like the members of the Koopa Gang. The Goomba Gang, was it the Koopa Gang or the Goomba Gang? I forget.
Whatever.
Okay, one of those two. I felt like they weren't that good. Like, for example, I like Chris, but I don't think he did a great job in this. I think Jackie also did pretty bad. And based off what I saw in the trailer, they do their own characters well. But as minions, they just, like, sounded so corny, like the ninjas and Stupid Mario Bros. Well, but that was acceptable because they were supposed to be funny. These characters are supposed to be dead serious, so they pretty much made it seem like it was supposed to be funny when it was clearly not supposed to be funny. So some of the acting was bad. Too many shots of the city. They really overdid it with the long shots, the extreme long shots. Those shots were cool, but when you have it for every single transition, it gets old. They went into Mario's backstory like way too quickly. They did it like within a few sentences, with the news reporter saying, "You know what would have been really cool? Revealing it in a future episode with a flashback. That could have been really cool." But no. 3 sentences, there you go guys, so that was kind of dumb. And other than that, I didn't have too many problems with it. Like I said, I like the story. I do think they mentioned some backstories too quickly and the acting wasn't always wonderful, but I liked it. I don't have any major complaints about it, and I look forward to next Thursday. Zach, you finish off.
Alright, where do I start? Okay. Well, unlike Mike, I have a lot of faults with this. First of all, he did mention there were some bad actors. I agree-ish. I think there's less good actors than there is bad. Like, I think the majority of from this episode was just bad acting. Chris, I think it was okay. He was not as bad as I thought. I think we talked this earlier, not now, but like the whole thing when when Mario, sorry, when Mario was shooting a fireball at Jackie's character, and Chris is like, oh my god, like begging for his life. I think we both agreed that.
Yeah, that actually was good.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about when he was using that voice that kind of sounded like Nox Decius a little bit.
Ooh, scary. What are you gonna do, old man? Hit us with your walking stick? What the hell was that?
Please, I don't want to die.
You don't want to die? What about the countless people you've killed and terrorized?
I'm sorry, please.
As it happens, I'm gonna let you live.
Really?
Other than that, yeah, everyone was pretty bad except for like Richie did good sometimes. The newscasters were great, especially Matt. Ness was fantastic. I was very surprised by that. The people that were being interviewed for the news, they were great also.
But how many other characters were there? There was that one businesswoman and then the minions. That's it.
Who?
The businesswoman that they threatened at the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
She was bad, but
But anyway,
there weren't many other characters in the first episode, were there? Am I forgetting some?
I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. So the many shots of the city. Mike already touched this, but this is okay. At first, it started out beautiful. It's like the episode was so professional. This is a web series. They're finally doing this. Then through most, like, probably the first half of the episode was nothing but these shots with little lines thrown in, with little plot. It was really bad. And I just want to say, though, like, the last shot, I think, of the bridge, like, exploding. Like, at that point, I was like, oh god, not this again, rolling my eyes, and I just broke out laughing when the bridge exploded. I'm like, it was kind of, saying to the fans, like, sorry for all the shots. We are aware of that, but here you go. It was pretty funny. I don't know if they meant to do that. They probably didn't. So, but, anyway. What else was I gonna say?
Yeah, the list of it.
Refresh my memory.
Luigi not being subtle.
Oh my god. Okay. They threw it out like that I think it was during when Ness was talking to Mario. Out of nowhere, Ness just brings it up like, look, I know Luigi died like from that gang years ago. That's it? You just throw it out like that? And Mario's expression was like, yeah, I heard you tell me all the time. No, you don't tell him all the time. You haven't seen each other in 20 years. They do say that, by the way. And another thing, Michael does like this scene. I think it's just weird. It's good for the plot, but it's weird for, like, just two people talking. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in 20 years. Hi, how'd you know I was going to be here at this cafe? Oh, let's talk. Okay, bye. I'm not going to see you in another 20 years.
He was psychic. No, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
no,
that's true.
I have to argue. I have to argue with you here. Real quickly.
Okay.
The scene to me makes plenty of sense because Ness knows that Mario's the only one who can stop this. He's the only one powerful enough to stop this. Ness knows he can't do it himself. So, with his psychic abilities, he goes talks to Mario and at least tries. He wasn't able to convince him, but he tried to convince him. Then when he mentioned Luigi's name and realized he went too far, it just became pretty awkward and the conversation was hard to keep going by. I also don't think mentioning Luigi was that bad too, because they didn't even mention he was dead, they just mentioned his name. So while I can say maybe that didn't make it obvious at the least, they didn't exactly jump right into that.
Now, and it would have been better if, like, they shown through the episode, like, Mario should get back into it more. Like, I know they did, but not with conversation, and I know that's not always, like, a bad thing. It's actually pretty good if you don't use any dialogue. But they didn't do it in a way that made the tone feel like,
they could have had some more,
he's actually thinking about this now. No, it kind of just happened out of nowhere.
They could have had some, at least some facial expressions.
Yeah. I kind of also want to say, like, near the end of the episode, when he actually does get into it, like, oh my god, I should really be doing this. All of a sudden, like, the big boss on TV He's saying, like, I'm the big boss, no one knows me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I killed Luigi. You couldn't wait later on to say that. I mean, that's classic Richalvarez, and you couldn't do that. I know they're trying to change up things, but that would have been better. And another thing, that's the only thing that triggers Mario, and yet nothing triggered him before when no one talked about Luigi. Now this big boss that he killed him. Oh, now I'm going to do it. I understand that's his brother, but that was just one thing. It was just one thing that made him go, okay, I'm going to do this. And then it was a very quick transition from him looking at his old costume being like, I got to get a new uniform. I understand, like, the teaser trailer wasn't supposed to be in the episode or in the show, but rethinking it now, it should have been in the show. It would have been great to see that scene, him putting on the costume, or him making the costume or whatever. But no, it transitions from him looking at his old costume to him fighting the minions in his new costume, and you're weirdly thinking, he could fight without a cane now, okay? Is it like this whole Batman Dark Knight Rises thing where some guy made his back better with a rope? Like, what happened? What happened? He's an old man, now he can fight, like, oh, whoop-de-doo, I can jump on walls. Like, that made no sense to me. And I just, maybe they might touch up on it in later episodes. They might show a flashback of him fixing his back with a rope. You never know. So,
maybe,
anyway, what?
I feel like there is a good chance, though, that this was, one thing you even admitted to this was the first episode. The first episode isn't always the best. I'm sure more will be explained as time goes by.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe with the reveal of who this boss is, mentioning Luigi real quick would have made sense. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I would really laugh, and everyone would be pretty much disappointed if it was either Bowser or Luigi as the real boss.
What if it was the darkness?
Oh, no, what if it was Noctessia?
I think it'd be funnier if it was the darkness, just because he came back to life more often. Hello, Mario.
Noctessia has come back just as many times as the darkness has. So
No, darkness came back too. Actually, no, you're right.
So, I mean,
It was just more obnoxious when the darkness came back.
No, it's Ganondorf. Oh my god, the real main villain. No,
Alright. Well, I think we've gone on about this enough.
Wait, did we forget anything?
Nah, you mentioned everything by mentioning the cane. But, yeah, in the end...
That we didn't write down before this?
In the end, it was the first episode. I think it was actually a really good way to start the series. There were mistakes, but nothing's perfect. And I look forward...
Fast with most of the plot.
Yeah, I do look forward to the next episode, though. A lot. Yeah. Anything else you gotta say?
I'm just waiting to see if they will improve. I'm just a little disappointed, but I hope that they can reassure me with some good episodes later on.
Alright, well, we'll figure out in a few days with the next one. Alright, so that is it. Michael out.
And butts.
Okay.